with Bitcoin leading the charge in this market yet again. The question is, when altcoin party? Welcome back to EllioTrades channel. I'm your host Krown again today with some good old TA. There's been a lot of requests for altcoin analysis, and I suspect the best, however, there are certainly drawbacks with this, way to analyze this is looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, I do want to address some shortcomings of looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart first and foremost before we get into this. There is something to be said about Bitcoin dominance as a very bastardized metric, you might say. Why do I mean that? Or what do I mean by that? Is perhaps a better way of saying that. Well, the problem with Bitcoin dominance is twofold, actually. First, Bitcoin dominance is going off of market cap within the general market. The problem with that is, unfortunately, because market cap is a very crude calculation, as it is simply just the last price multiplied by the total supply, it can be massively manipulated and very unsophisticated as a metric. You can imagine that, especially in a market like this, where creating a new crypto coin is virtually effortless. Someone can make a very low supply coin, make one trade in it, and then voila, you have a market cap of 100 quadrillion million bazillion. Also, the other problem with it, obviously, is the fact that you can just create altcoins very easily. And of course, if the market cap of Bitcoin is going up, or even just staying the same, and the market cap of all of the other existing altcoins are the same, and then you add just one more or hundreds of more, then obviously the Bitcoin dominance will go down. And is that really representative of what's happened in this market? I would argue probably not. Anyways, with that in mind, let's get over to it here after we've addressed those shortcomings and speak about what to expect over the next 3, maybe even 6 months, as we do see the Bitcoin dominance chart once again spruce back up. Now, I know many people are looking for or expecting an altcoin, hopium for an altcoin season perhaps. I unfortunately am not going to have that for you today, or at least I will not have that on first pass, and we can come up with some invalidation points for if it is going to come to fruition sooner rather than later. But as long as Bitcoin dominates this run, which is in my opinion a good thing for the general health of the market, I would not expect altcoins to do very well versus their Bitcoin pairing. That is completely not to say that altcoins will not do very well versus their US dollar pairing. In general, whatever Bitcoin does versus the US dollar, altcoins will do in a little bit more an emotional way, typically speaking, meaning that when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up. When Bitcoin goes down, altcoins typically go down more, except for on the weekends, by the way. That's actually one of the times where we do see a bit of a reversal on that, or at least during these times, not as much. Anyways, with that in mind, and also addressing the simple fact that certainly, or at least 99.99999, repeating of course, by the way, percentage of altcoins are going to be doing that. There will be a few outliers, of course. Certainly there will be, and I'm sure that many people are following up on those, which is great. Definitely leave them in the comment section below as well, because I would love to analyze them myself just to see, as I typically don't look at these things unless if requested. Okay, with that in mind, the Bitcoin dominance chart right here, what do we see? We see the first etchings of a major macro reversal. I do believe, personally speaking, that this is a front-runnable event here, as we do have our first higher low on the weekly, and I believe on the monthly as well. Actually, no, not on the monthly, funnily enough. However, it should be known that there is a very powerful indication on our monthly and even weekly, I believe as well. Yes, RSI right here. There will be, or there is actually, in fact, bullish divergence between our May 21st lows, or May 2021 is what I mean, and our current September lows as well. So that means that price action, well, in this case, market cap is making a lower low, or dominance is making a lower low, and the RSI oscillator is making a higher low, meaning that when, and this is a little bit of a poor explanation because I'm using this with price action, but meaning that bears in this case tried to get down lower, or did get down lower on price action. However, the move is losing momentum, as the RSI shows right here. We can also see this on the monthly as well, being that it is pretty much 4x the time frame of a weekly. It will be much more powerful here too, and there are targets to be generated off of this. The minimum target, whenever I see something like this, is going to be the 10 simple or non-exponential, whatever you want to use in this case. That's completely fine. They're going to be more or less the same. And that would be just in the shallow 50% actually. Do I believe that things will stop there? No, I don't actually. Why is that? Because we do have a measured move to make off of this. Now, I know that many people have been looking at this as some sort of a declining resistance. I don't know if they're drawing it like this, or I just see this all over Twitter and whatnot, or this. Dare I say this is hogwash, boulder dash, if you will. I do not believe that that is a good or relevant way to be analyzing. At least I do not see it work very often in my experience. With that in mind, we do have something else over here now, don't we? As we put on our drawing tools, what do we see? There is actually a measured move to be made off of this as technically a failed descending triangle formation, which actually does point up right here towards the 55, actually just below 56% level, or just below 55% level. No, sorry, 55.5. I am blind, by the way, which is also confluent with the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement. Now, the 0.5 is a pretty common retracement level, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. If you are, of course, bullish on this, meaning that you're bullish on the Bitcoin dominance, bearish on altcoin Bitcoin pairings, then we very likely correct all the way up minimum to the 618, which will be 59.5, our prior breakdown areas, another general technical target off of a failure like this. You also notice that we are pretty much within the same areas as what we saw in the bottoming of 2018. Of course, as well during that epic, absolutely epic altcoin season, in a very similar formation over here as well. Spike 1, spike 2, same area, spike 1, spike 2, reverse. So I would go as far as saying I would expect this to go up somewhere in the shallow 50s, perhaps anywhere between 50 and 51. Very likely a pullback somewhere around there. Even short term, I would be looking for a pullback around your prior high in July, which is about 49.25. Very short term, however. Long term, I would be looking for that to continue to the upside. So I do not believe that there will be an altcoin season, again, altcoin versus Bitcoin, not altcoin versus US dollar, it's a different story, for a while. We can also go on to a quarterly as well, and I think that is going to send this one kaputs for a while here. I would be expecting a minimum 55 or so read on this to be hit before any potential major reversal, macro reversal in this case. Until then, I do suspect that this will continue onwards and upwards, and if I had to call it myself, I do believe that things will get into the upper 50s or low 60s before we do see a potential reversal on this. That does imply that Bitcoin very likely leads or continues to lead this rally. Again, does not mean that altcoins will be going down versus US dollar. They very likely do follow Bitcoin, and I am very nearly certain that there will be at least a few outliers that will outperform Bitcoin during that time as well. With that in mind, which ones are the next typical ones to pay attention to? In this case, I would argue Ethereum. And yes, I stick with the analysis that we were putting out, I believe, last week, that Ethereum on the weekly is still primed for a move past 4,000, very likely to new all-time highs within the next month to month and a half. This is looking very good. This is a phenomenal formation right here. There is absolutely no reason in my mind at all whatsoever to be bearish on Ethereum on the macro scale, looking for any sort of a reversal, especially as long as we are above $3,400. As long as that condition is met, I do look for this to trade sideways and up, very likely towards first the prior all-time high, and then extend that, well, towards some more interesting targets down the road. And I look for Bitcoin to be the musical composer of this whole run and set the tone long term. And as long as Bitcoin is continuing on with the party, I suspect that altcoin US dollar pairings will as well. With that said, I'll leave this video off there. I want to wish you well yet again. Please do in the comment section let me know if you are watching any altcoins that are currently outperforming Bitcoin, meaning, and this is a very specific definition here, meaning that altcoin Bitcoin pairing is in a weekly uptrend. If they are not in a weekly uptrend, let alone a daily uptrend at this point, then it is very unlikely that that is going to be fulfilling that condition. However, I want to keep an open mind during this, and of course, I will be wrong as well, as always. So I should come up with an invalidation point for the Bitcoin dominance chart. Where would that be? It's actually very simple right here. Where would I once again be bearish on Bitcoin dominance, meaning that I am bullish on altcoin Bitcoin pairings on the macro scale? Again, very clean condition there on the macro scale. I look at nothing less than a weekly. Well, as long as we are above 44.5%, I do remain with that. Until then, I do look higher and, well, to be fair, much higher. I hope this information has served you well. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.